Hi, this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today is the 17th of January, and I thought it was time for an update on our court case. The Attorney General's office has decided that they're going to challenge our witnesses, and our witnesses are state certified veterinarians. So I don't know what their motive is other than to just waste time. But we have a hearing for that on January 30th. And our dates for trial are still 11 through 14 March. We have asked the Attorney General for a stipulation, which would be a written agreement that they don't plan to pull any fast ones and try and take this out of the circuit court and take it down to Lansing, and they refuse to do that. And what that indicates is, I'll bring you back to Senate Bill 652, which was signed into law on the 12th day of November. My hearing was on the 13th day of November, 2013. There was such outrage over Senate Bill 652, which stated that cases against the state had to be taken to a completely different court. So it effectively would have put us at square one. And we're into this almost 3 years and a lot of dollars, and putting us at square one would have been very tough to do. And that was their strategy, of course. There was such outrage over 652 that, and you guys did this, you burned up the lines to Lansing, which is your duty, and I'm glad you did it, that they came out with House Bill 5156, which was signed into law on the 17th of December. That was kept a secret, though. However, that House Bill provides a way to keep cases that were pending in the circuit court, if they were pending before 12 November. How convenient. So we should be going to court at our dates of 11 through the 14th March, which is good. We believe that we will win because they don't really have a case. That's why they're, contesting our witnesses, and they wouldn't allow us to bring Dr. Jack Mayer, who is their expert from the next town over, up to testify. His book is got a completely different message than what the DNR is saying about feral swine. Okay, so that's where we are right now. We have a hearing on the 30th of January, and then our court case will be on the 11th through the 14th. 11th through the 14th, you don't want to miss that. We're going to tape the whole thing, and we're going to make the whole thing available because it should be really, really interesting. This case is a pivotal case in American history, I believe, because here we have a regulatory agency that has come up with a declaration that will have far-reaching effects in the state of Michigan. This is the Department of Natural Resources now. People who live in Michigan look at the Department of Natural Resources not in a very favorable light. I am new to Michigan, been here 10 years. I never had a run-in with them until this. And what I have seen has been very poor, and they're a very poor organization. A lot of their conservation officers, not all, but a lot of them are bullies and treat people like they're prisoners. And that's unacceptable in our country. All citizens have constitutional rights, and they need to be respected. This is a very good example of what's going on with the feral swine issue, of a state-run organization, a bureaucracy that trounces people's constitutional rights, and they don't seem to be ever brought to justice over it, but that's going to change. Okay, here is the crux of this feral swine issue. This is the declaratory ruling. Declaratory ruling. It's available to you at michigandnr.gov, and you look around in there and you can find it. And I would like it if a lot of people would download that, all right? Because the last time that we were in a hearing with the Attorney General's office, they made it very clear that they want to distance themselves from the declaratory ruling. And that's, I can understand why. The declaratory ruling is, it was written by, apparently, recently by Shannon Hanna. She's the gal that I showed the picture of that she kind of looks like Skeletor. I'm not going to do that anymore because that's kind of mean. But she's the one that wrote it, and she wrote it with the help of Dr. Jack Mayer, the expert that they won't allow us to put on the stand, that they've paid a lot of money, your tax dollars money, as a paid consultant to the state of Michigan. Isn't that convenient? But it doesn't matter. We have his book, and we also have the declaratory ruling, and it should be interesting when we get to court. But what I would like to do, I would like to do a series, maybe I don't know, a 5-part series on the declaratory ruling. Because the declaratory ruling is quite simple. There's a bunch of fluff in it, just like most stuff like this. But they give out about 10 monikers of the animals that they think are prohibited, or that they've declared are prohibited. And then if you don't know if you have one of those animals, you're supposed to go over to the descriptions, and there are 9 of those descriptions. And, for people who are not farmers or not animal people or not pig people, I thought it would be just a lot of fun to go through each one of those descriptions and be able to, kind of explain the foolishness of this. And it'll actually be fun. I'm not going to do it today. But that's what I'll start, and I'll probably start that next time, because I like to keep these short. But there is one other issue I have to bring to your attention, and this is an issue I really need help with. This is a conversation that took place with a friend of mine, and I'm not going to mention that person's name for that person's protection. All right, but the conversation was with an inspector from the United States Department of Agriculture. I just found this out this morning. I got an email, and it's kind of disturbing. And as you can imagine, the feral swine issue as pertains to Baker's Green Acres is kind of a hot topic in these here parts. And so it came up with the USDA inspector, and the USDA inspector just came unglued and said that no USDA people, no Michigan Department of Ag people are allowed to go anywhere near Baker's Green Acres now or probably never, was what was said in this email, and went on to say that the only people that will be allowed to come to Baker's Green Acres are armed agents from the DNR. Now I have this email, and I have the name of the USDA person. And I'm not going to put it out here because I don't think that would be productive. But if there are people out there that believe that they could use that information, please contact me, and I'll get that to you. I'll get you that name, and I'll get you all the pertinent information about that conversation. Here's why. In a struggle like this, we've seen this many, many times. I left out a part of the conversation. This USDA agent said that we are, the personnel that work here at Baker's Green Acres, probably me, are gun-wielding fanatics. Okay, so that was said. Those are words that were uttered by this USDA person, which I would think has a fair amount of authority. And those words are damaging. Gun-wielding. Gun-wielding, what does that mean? But we've seen it before, in American history. Now, if this is how they're trying to portray me, you and I know all my buds at the DNR watch these before anybody, but you people that are with us Americans, you need to do what you can to disseminate this information. Many of you have been to my farm and know me and my family personally. We may not have had dinner together, but you talked with us face to face, and you know who we are, and you know what my history is. I'm ex-military, served 20 years in the military, honorably discharged, decorated, disabled, if that means. And I am not a gun-wielding fanatic. I do not live on a compound. This is a farm. There's no gate around it. Anybody can walk up the driveway anytime they want. Mailman comes all the time. Brushman agents come. If you boys from the DNR, you armed agents, if you want to come, call me on the phone and say that you're coming, but don't show up here in a bad way. Don't do that, all right? That's not fair. And I think that's what you're getting ready to do by this conversation. That's disturbing. I have 8 children here, and there's no need for that. This is about pigs. We are in a court of law. You don't need to come here. If you want me, you want to serve an arrest warrant, wait till you see me driving down the road. Or call me up, and I'll meet you someplace, and you can put the cuffs on me. Don't endanger my children. Now, all of you that have heard this, I need you to disseminate this information. It's very important that a lot of people know that they are possibly lining up on me for something like that, because those words were spoken by a USDA agent, someone who works for the United States Department of Ag, right? And if, like I said, if you need proof of that, I can get that to you. Now, what they like to do is they like to marginalize people that kind of don't think that their ideas are good ideas. Like, I don't think it's a good idea to get rid of all the pigs at family farms because the DNR comes up with a notion, a crazy notion, that we have a feral swine problem. Nobody ever sees them. So I don't think it's a good idea, and I called them on it, and then I took them to court. That's what we do in the United States. That's what we do in America. Liberty and justice for all. Remember that? You used to do that, the Pledge of Allegiance, you DNR people, right? And you people from the state. You did that too. Liberty and justice for all. Me, you, everyone. Liberty, justice. Think about that, you people from the Attorney General's office. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so we need to get this out. I don't need to be marginalized. They do that by making disparaging comments about you. One of the big ones is white separatist. You may hear that. I have nothing to do with that. We're homeschoolers, and we live on a farm. Yeah, it's a little ways away from everybody, but we're not separatists. There's no way there's any of that. We do not live on a compound. It is not a compound. We have no high fences or moats or anything like that, or alligators. There's nothing like that. If anybody wants to come and visit, you people from the state, of course, you need to call first. Okay, you just need to call first, because you have not shown to be very trustworthy people, and people from the county as well, especially county officials. You need to call first. Okay, that's what I have. Need your help with this, and then I'll be back at you with this thing of the declaratory ruling. We'll have some fun with that. Okay, it's Mark from Baker's Green Acres signing off.